Hey guys, welcome back to another week of the Unnamed Cybertalk. What's that?
I just came back. Sorry, I bounced out, guys.
Yeah, no, you bounced out again. Anyway, this week, guys, crazy things are happening in the automotive industry. You have to be under a rock right now to not know that a lot of dealerships, looks like about 15,000 dealerships in the U.S. use this product, use a company called CDK Global, who had a data breach and actually shut down the dealer management systems yesterday. Mm-hmm. And based on what we saw, the dealer management systems came back up last night, and this morning they're back down.
A lot of interesting stuff.
So, we're I don't know. I don't remember what we had scheduled to talk about today, but I think Chris had a few comments about what he's seen so far.
Yeah, like first of all, my internet sucks. So let me just get that right out of the way real quick. If I pause or whatever for whatever reason, I'm having packet loss today. So good times.
Is that because of your VPN? Chris, is that because of your VPN?
No.
You have a direct VPN with CDK by chance? Always on? All data traverses it? Always?
Open network? Your network is our network? I think we
froze
Chris. There he is. He's back. CDK.
I'm back. All right. I will try to get through this and this internet crap that's happening, but all right. CDK. The direct VPN thing is one thing. Like you guys were talking about that, like where they require all the dealers to have a direct VPN. It got worse though. Apparently the software requires administrative rights, so they're probably like system level, which means for the software to update, it has to have admin privileges. And yeah, that's kind of a risk.
So Chris, why is that? What is a VPN for those who don't know? And why is it a problem that give access to this software at an admin level?
So a VPN is just a private tunnel. You're going over the internet, but it's encrypted and you're going back realistically to CDK's data centers. So it's where they run their software. Mm-hmm. So it's a direct link to their software. The problem with the admin part is if that gets compromised, they can do whatever they want on that computer. And if they can then get to admin level in that computer, they can then move to other computers in your network. That's called moving laterally. Mm-hmm. And they can get to whatever your crown jewels are.
We're about 15,000 dealerships.
Right. And from what I saw is a lot of them were being told to turn that VPN off because they were afraid of what was happening inside of these CDK data centers. So it's a direct link back to them. It's a supply chain attack, like we've talked about before. If I was the group that attacked them, I would have just laid low for a while and tried to get into the 15,000 dealers.
We don't know that they're not already there.
Yeah,
that's true too. Like how long have they been in there? How long do they lay low? That's true too. So we'll see.
Especially when the software had admin rights.
Allegedly. Yeah. Meaning, Chris, I don't know if you saw this, but I shared in the private chat that I found the Reddit post that somebody was claiming that they did a quick survey and 17% of the people he surveyed found compromised systems on the at the dealerships. Yeah.
So, and that's just an initial tree.
That's significant.
And it's from Reddit, so we don't know that it's 100% accurate. And the reports will come out after everything's cleaned up. But it's just going to be okay.
Sadly, Reddit sometimes is actually a good source of news, and I hate to say that. Obviously, there's stuff you got to be careful about with that, but like usually in those cases, you'll find breaking news in Reddit before it actually hits the public.
Yeah, I actually saw a news report. There was a CBS report for this, and when I found the people they were quoting from Reddit sitting in that service manager thread. So,
well, it's sort of like the man on the street right now. As far as like the Reddit, you're getting people at the dealerships.
Yeah,
and they're kind of it's like interviewing somebody in the middle of a thunderstorm.
Yeah, instant unvetted information. Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing with X, right? So you have Twitter/X and you have Reddit where these people can't do their job and they might post like the letters. Did you see the letter from CDK?
There was a couple that I've seen. Yes.
Yeah, where they said they
yeah.
won't. They definitely will not be back up today because of the second attack. Like, there's no chance they're gonna be back up today. So, it's interesting. I haven't seen anything on their website that they've officially told the world what's going on. But I do find it funny that they sell cybersecurity services. That's kind of entertaining.
Well, CDK, I was talking to Bob before the show. CDK was an offshoot of ADP. And years ago, for those that don't know, I used to work in the trucking industry. I remember the dealership, I was with a Freightliners, a Zuzu dealership. And we went ahead and went from pen and paper to digitizing the whole system. And ADP was the company that went in. Now, ADP now owns a whole suite of basically, it's what they call turnkey operation, where they put all these services under one software suite. So it's not just the service desks that you worry about now. It's all of your finance desks. Every credit app that's applied for, all the insurances, all the vendor relationships, payrolls, all these staff that work at these dealerships who are there or have worked at these dealerships are potentially exposed. All of the, so it's everything that touches advertising. The dealerships spend a fortune on advertising on a weekly basis. And so all of this is being potentially exposed. 15,000 of these. And then you just start doing the math. It literally could be a tsunami of exposure, which is what the FTC was trying to prevent when they put the safeguard rules in.
Yeah.
Well, then 10 days ago, Finley Auto Group was hit with a cyber attack too. They came in on June 9th to ransomware, and they've already been sued.
The anniversary.
Yeah, they've already been sued.
So that's an interesting point because was Finley. We don't know if Finley was a CDK customer, but that could have been how they got in initially.
Yeah, I know that people claimed there was a ransom note on their computers when they came in, so probably different. But yeah, maybe CDK was. We don't know this, but they could have been the way they got ransomware. Maybe that's how they got in. Who knows? But I do know they've already had a class action lawsuit filed. That, by the way, they only took 8 days to file a class action lawsuit.
They're going to move pretty quickly on these.
That's how quick these lawyers are jumping on this stuff. Like with people that are affected by this.
Well, there's blood in the water, and there's going to be a lot of exposure. I mean, think of a Porsche dealership. What's their clientele? They're going to get sued as well. There's a lot of attorneys who are going to make a lot of money because of this.
Well, and we say we talk about these companies like this, but it's like it'll be interesting to see what was CDK doing and how were they exploited? Like what led to them being attacked? Like what vector did they take? What was the initial infection point? Like what really happened? And are they a public company? I don't think they're public.
I'm not sure.
No, they are. They're on NASDAQ. They're a private company, but they're on NASDAQ. Interesting.
They got to be issuing shares. I would assume they're issuing shares on NASDAQ.
Let's see here. Yeah. They'll have to report to the SEC then. So
they're going to have it. What is that? 10K? 8K? What's the report they have to do, Chris?
8K.
8K.
$10K is financial, 8K is for other major
8K,
events.
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. But this is definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to verify that they're on the stock market. I'm just trying to verify that real quick because if they really are, we will get some information on there. It'll be interesting to see. That's all from that perspective because I'd really like to see what really happened.
Any predictions?
Any predictions? No.
Predictions?
User error, credential stuffing.
Could be a vendor. There's so many different places where this
vector probably phishing, just because that's the most common vector. Actually, I don't think they're on NASDAQ anymore. Yeah, I think they got taken private.
I'm assuming it was phishing at some sort, but what I'm anxious to see is how they moved laterally so quickly. Because if it actually hit dealerships from a vendor, what were they actually doing?
This VPN
cybersecurity wise, that's where my curiosity really lies. His
How
too,
was it?
apparently.
Was
We
this
just-
too centralized once they got
It's
in?
all good.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're on stock, so they're not publicly traded anymore. So they are private. So we won't get an SEC report for it.
It's then that'll come up in the lawsuits because
Yeah,
they're going to have
yeah.
discovery at that point.
Yep. Well, hopefully they're more open before that point. Like hopefully they actually come out and they say exactly what happened and what efforts they're making to improve. I mean, they're gonna have to tell the dealers. They have 15,000 dealers. They're gonna have to tell them like, hey, this is what happened. These are the steps that we're taking to make sure this doesn't happen again. These are additional steps that we're going to take to protect your networks because now we've already shown that we're a risk to you. So we're sitting here selling you cybersecurity services and IT services, but we're actually an arguably a bigger threat to you than even like hackers because we can cause
We can bring 'em right
15,000
to your
businesses
door.
to have problems. Yeah. So
We can bring the hackers right to your business for you. No
Well,
problem.
and from a marketing perspective, listing how many clients you manage for cybersecurity on your website, cool, big,
Turns you into a target.
something to swing. But it says, hey, you compromise us. Look at what we have for you, and I feel like
so
that might be a factor.
I
here.
just did a quick Google search for publicly traded car dealerships. You know, I just came back with about a dozen that might have to file
they will, yeah.
They'll file the
that,
AKs.
that report anyway.
You know, this reminds me a little bit of the Kaseya attack from, obviously because both supply chain attacks and for everybody out there, if you're listening, Kaseya is a product that a lot of IT providers and internal IT use to remote control and manage computers. And it's 2021, I believe, right? I think it was 2021.
Late 20, early 21.
20, I think it was 20.
around there.
It was July 2nd,
Somewhere in there,
2021. It was
give or
July
take.
2nd, 2021. So we're on the 3-year anniversary coming up here. And it was taken down for like almost a month. And it was all ransomware was deployed through it because there was a vulnerability. This is similar in the fact that you get into a company like this, you know, you talk about SolarWinds too. That was 2020, late 2020.
Mhm.
This supply chain thing is a big problem. And it's even worse when they have direct connections into your network. Like it's one thing if they don't, like, yeah, you might not be able to, like, let's say Intuit, let's say that it runs QuickBooks. Let's say hypothetically they get hacked, right? They don't have an in on your network, or they shouldn't anyway, right? If
They
you're
don't
using
have
QuickBooks
admin
Online,
privileges on your network,
right.
on your computers. They can't
Right.
install software.
so you're relying on them to make sure that they have a good incident response, they have good backup, they can restore things, they can get back up and running, things like that. This is different though. They have a direct connection and privileges on your network that you can't, that you're required to have to do business with them. So what does this look like for their competitors in this space?
Yeah.
Like their competitors, if they don't require that same level of risk, like if you're actually doing risk management and you're looking at that and you're doing third-party vendor management, like you should be vetting your third parties, your vendors, there's a good chance that they could lose a lot of business out of this.
Well,
Change
they
up-
got their own report. They report that they published in 2020 for the state of cybersecurity for car dealerships actually said that 84% of your customers won't come back after having their data breached. So I'm wondering if that's going to apply to the dealerships.
This is
not
like
coming back to them.
prophecy.
How many how many dealerships are there in the United States?
Good question.
Let's have fun with that. Let's see, 15,000 or CDK. So let's see here.
While you're doing that, I mean, the other thing to keep in mind, depending on how this was deployed, you know, we were playing around with the idea that if I was a bad guy, what I would do is I would hire somebody or bribe somebody in one of these dealerships to get access into the network. I didn't even have to get, because of the way the VPNs are set up, I don't have to necessarily be inside of CDK. I could have been in one of the clients and or be getting information now as far as, you know, what steps they're trying to do to remediate this. I mean, this is a wild guess, but it's not the first time that a criminal organization pretended to be a legitimate business.
There's a lot of ways to spin this, especially if you know who you're going after, right?
Yeah. But one of the things that tipped them off also is the fact that, you know, they are named in the FTC safeguards. And why are they named? Because they have so much information. So that's made all of a sudden all of these, criminal organizations target them. So, I mean, if you're one of those 13 businesses that are named in the FTC safeguard rules, such as accountants, bookkeepers, trust and estates, you should be on guard.
That's true. Okay. I have some numbers.
So new car. Oh, did you find 18,000 for new car dealerships?
So they're saying 18,263 for light vehicle dealerships. Roughly, let's say 18,000, a little over 18,000 light dealerships. There's an additional 26,500 used car dealerships.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then you got to consider the truck dealerships, the RV dealerships, the snowmobile dealerships.
Well,
the motorcycle dealerships.
That's the thing that CDK do. They do all that, or are they mostly auto?
Parts. They move into multiple. I worked in a truck dealership.
No. I just mean for CDK's customers base. So are they when they say 15,000, are they talking about 15,000 car dealerships, or are they talking about like across? That's the one thing I'd
have to have a report, but I'm betting it's the whole enchilada. I bet they included everybody.
Okay. Either way, let's assume for just fun's sake that it's just auto dealerships. If there's only 18,000, a little over 18,000 new dealerships in the United States, and then there's 26,000 used, so they have like a third.
Yeah,
at least it could be more. It could be far more than that, but at least a third. That's wild. This is like Change Healthcare level of access, because Change Healthcare does like a third of the transactions in healthcare in the United States. So, and by the way, if you guys didn't see that, the government changed the rules so Change Healthcare could file all of the disclosures for that cyber attack for all the people affected by it. They initially told all the small physicians' offices and stuff like that they had to file, and then they changed their tune and allowing Change Healthcare. So they can go to Change Healthcare and say, we want you to file for the breach disclosure on our behalf, and they can do that. They changed the rules for that. That's how bad that was.
It's going to be an interesting to see what the FTC does with this.
And this might be the same thing. They may force CDK Global to actually do all the breach disclosures. That'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see.
It was very interesting to see what happens.
Either way, it's terrible.
It's horrific.
So they have access to all this personal information.
We're kind of rambling on this one. What should dealerships be doing today? They've already been told. We've seen that there's been potential that the local machines are compromised because of the VPN. If they've been told to shut down their VPN, which is great, but how can they know that they're safe?
They should contact one of the four of us. Reach out to one of us. We all have tools and abilities to scan their networks to see what machines are compromised. We can look through that. We can see how their networks are currently. What did you say, Bob? There was they believe it's 17% are known infected.
The Reddit post said 70% of the people he polled said that they had compromised systems on their network.
Yeah, we do. Everybody here does a risk assessment. We all have the tools to do that for any dealership, any other business. But yeah, that's something you should be doing today, immediately, because just because you shut the VPN does not mean that the bad guys are still not in your systems.
So the real message here, I think, for everyone that's still here and watching, if you know somebody that runs a dealership or works at a dealership, put us in touch with them. Yes. Because we can help. And absolutely. We're all on a mission to protect people from the bad guys, and this is what we do. Cool. And with that, I think that's all we got for this week. It's going to be an interesting recap for next week, because I'm sure this is still going to be playing out. And the impact in the dealerships is going to be crazy. Anyway, Mr. Matt, you have any parting comments?
No, my cybersecurity team, the young ones in training are getting antsy. They're really riled up about the lack of care this vendor seemed to have for their dealerships. So I'm really curious to see how this plays out.
They seem, oh my gosh, they seem like they're tearing up the place because of this.
They are literally tearing up the Burger King. I think I'm going to go excuse myself.
They got upset. It wasn't the sugar. It was all.
It was 20 minutes of me rambling on.
Carl, any parting comments?
I worked in a dealership. I understand the stresses that go on there. And my heart goes out to everybody who's dealing with this, because it's basically shut down. The people are not going to work today. And I think everybody's in the same business. You know, we're all in the same business of making sure businesses don't go out of business. And, you know, that's where we are right now. So worst thing you can do is put your head in the sand and not do anything. And we'd love to, you know, we don't want to see anybody suffer like this. We know how many people get employed and how many people are, if you're the owner, I know how many people are depending on you today to make sure that they can make payroll.
And Mr. Chris.
Well, if my internet would keep working, I would have a lot more. So fiber should be available everywhere for everybody, right? Guaranteed fiber. I think we have to reinvestigate too big to fail in this world. I think we've got to the point where consolidation has become a big problem, and cyber techs are making it worse. When you consolidate down to a couple of vendors that provide services for so many people and have access to so much data, you've actually created a funnel straight to data that gets more people exposed. And I think it's something that needs to be addressed.
Well, that's it for this week. And I know Matt and Carl, you are out and about, so I'll let you guys get back to what you're doing, and catch everybody next week.
Yeah, have a good week, guys.
All right, take care, guys.
I'll talk to you next week.